honorable mention. This fuckhead jumped in at the end of that video with his, "Hi, I'm Sean Hannity," who's, by the way, but for a little bit of the black still in his hair, looks to be the same age as Joe. Seriously, other than hairline, if you told me these guys, hey, you know, they're the same age, I'd go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Hey, he kept his hair, he had plugs or something, but okay. I would totally buy it. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you totally buy it if somebody said they were the same age? Joe is 80. That's what vaping does. I hope not. Oh, good Lord. All right. For all the vapors in the audience. Yeah. I think this whole Trump thing has aged Sean Hannity a bunch. You know, Anonymous knows Jeff Tate? That's fucking cool. Tell him next time you talk to him, tell him thank you for recommending the Entertainer Secret Spray. I have a bottle of it that I keep on stage at the Jam, and it's the shit. He recommended that to me in Seattle when I sang Silent Lucidity with him and the rest of the band when they were still together. How do you like that? Yep. Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrops from your eyes. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. So, yeah, anyways, tell him I said thanks. All right, back to this dipshit. Fox News, Hannity, this might be May. This May. They decided it might sound like too strong a word. May. May. This may be the biggest political scandal in American history. And it might be a fart in a paper bag waiting to be popped. Perhaps. Let's find it.
What a great crowd. Welcome, all of you. The only normal people in all of New York are right.
The only normal people in New York. I'm fairly sure is that Dick Morris or his stunt double? There's one of the best known non-male Dolly Parton impersonators in the country. This lady screams New Yorker. I'm on the TV. Yes, it's the only normal people. There's fucking 14 of them. Define normal. This, by the way, there is no fucking way that Sean Hannity would talk to this woman for more than 3 seconds. Her either. Maybe this one. Definitely, like, only because he's with her, maybe. I don't know. These people are all from, they're all wearing a similar shirt, so there's something going on there. Yes, these are all the normal people.
Right here. Welcome back, our live audience show.
Yeah, it's so much more exciting when people boo, because even Sean Hannity was getting tired of his same old shit.
Thank you for joining us on Hannity. We begin, though, tonight with a Fox News alert.
What a fox!
Breaking tonight, Hunter Biden will likely be indicted by the end of this month. I know you...
Yeah! Apparently he's pissed that there wasn't an immediate response. It took them half a second. It's on a gun charge. By the way, this is why there's a hitch in their get-along, fuckhead. Because Republicans in general don't believe there should be anything called a gun charge. Unless you're, I guess, black and just have one. Then you shouldn't be allowed or something. Wow.
But there's a lot more to this. Now, special counsel...
Is there?
David Weiss is seeking at least one gun charge against...
Oh. Well, you know what I mean. Bribery... influence peddling, blah, 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 blah. He lied on a form and purchasing a gun, which is, again, something Republicans think should be your right in the Constitution.
Hunter,
again, these motherfuckers don't even think there should be a form in the first place.
No mistake. Let me be very clear up front here.
I don't know. I like when drug addicts have guns, and especially people who have a history of mental illness. I supported that change.
This is not a cause for celebration.
because if they start charging everybody who lied on a gun form, I'm fucked.
Just not because you don't want to ever see anybody arrested or have hard times in their life.
Excuse me. No. There's plenty of times I want to see somebody arrested. Get the fuck out of here. It's not all, dude, it's barely ever sad when someone gets arrested. Seriously, statistically speaking, you ever been around an arrest when it fucking happened? I guarantee, anytime anybody who's been standing there when somebody else has been arrested or been arrested themselves and is being honest, is going, yeah, I kind of had to come in at that moment. Or, fuck, that was terrible. That guy was doing this thing. He smacked this woman, and there was a thing. There was a fight in the bar, and then they come in, and they screwed up. They got the wrong guy for a second, and then they questioned people, and then they arrested this dude, and he was still fucking, he was throwing shit at everybody. Like, that's how most arrests go down. No. Yeah, Sean Hannity's saying this because he's still broken up over Epstein and Madoff.
Right, but it's hardly even a step in the right direction when we.
Thank you, David. Best show on planet Earth. Thank you. We'll get you there, David. We're all good. This is so fun. So fun. Too little, too late? I don't know.
Talk about blind justice being blind.
Blind justice being blind, as opposed to colorblind justice having no idea how to drive through a stoplight.
Hunter is now facing prosecution only because David
Weiss decided to break up the thing, and now it's a gun charge. There's going to be one thing. Nobody cares. Again, Republicans are like, oh, fuck. They're going to use Hunter Biden. They're going to throw Hunter Biden in jail for 8 months or release him on, give him community service just so they can throw the rest of us in jail for having guns.
Weiss got caught giving Hunter Biden that get-out-of-jail-free card. And
motherfucker, you don't think he should go to jail for this charge? Never mind the fact that you believe it shouldn't be a felony talked down to a misdemeanor in a plea deal or anything. You actually don't. No one in his audience, no one thinks that the form that Hunter Biden filled out where he said, are you currently using drugs? And he checked no. That form should even fucking exist. No one. So piss off.
The form of what was the sweetest of all sweetheart deals.
The sweetest of sweetheart deals.
In the history. No jail time, no serious charges, a gentle slap on the wrist.
For a gun charge you don't think should exist, and a tax issue that he already paid back. P.S. Donald Trump is refusing to return a refund he got from the IRS that he did not deserve of $72 million. Donald Trump got $72 million from the American taxpayer given to him by the IRS in a lump sum that he did not deserve, that he had lied about the depreciation of his properties while he was playing them up to the banks, all this shit in New York. $72 million. Not only did he not pay taxes on, have you ever made $72 million and not paid taxes on that $72 million? That's more than Hunter Biden. That's 7 times more than Hunter Biden is alleged to have made, and whatever, I guess 3.5 times what he should have, the 35 times what he should have paid, like his taxes he should have paid, the entire amount. With that, you could give, fuck it, I don't care. Like, it's ridiculous. $71 million. $72 million.
Full immunity hidden deep into the plea deal.
No, it wasn't. When you make a plea deal, you can't be charged later with the stuff you cop to in the plea deal. That's how plea deals fucking work. And Sean, here's a good idea. Bring on some of the Jan 6ers who got out of jail time because they took a fucking plea deal. and ask them if they would like to be charged later for shit they admitted to during that was more where they admitted to more guilt than they were being given time for. Bring them on. I'm sure you could find, I don't know, spitballing 700 of them.
Deal, try to get that past the judge. And remember, the original plan was no charges at all whatsoever. And then the IRS whistleblowers made that plan obsolete and impossible. So David Weiss came up with Plan B that included immunity. And that became the next best option. No jail time, no real charges. It was.
Yes, because he'd already paid back the money. They'd worked out a deal with the IRS. And the gun charge, everybody was debating about whether even there's a constitutionality to it, because he admits in his book that he was doing drugs, but you can't bring him into a courtroom. This is the problem. If they indict him on the gun charge, when he goes in there, what are they going to say? They're going to say, had you used drugs during that? Did you say in your book that you were doing drugs? Yes, I did. Were you using drugs? I plead the fifth. The jury is instructed to regard the statement as neither an admission of guilt nor a contradiction of evidence. And by the way, object, Your Honor. Does the prosecution have evidence beyond the written words about a generalized period of time that my client has written about in his autobiography, that he was, during the period that he bought the gun, had he been off drugs for 2 weeks and then he relapsed afterwards? Does that count statistically or specifically against this ruling, where he wasn't actually officially, because he just come out of rehab, he was not lying on the form? Okay. Can the prosecution prove that during the period of time, the week he filled out that form, was he addicted to drugs? Did you believe you were addicted to drugs at the time? No, I was, like a lot of users, I thought I could quit any time. So when I wrote down I'm not addicted to drugs, I meant it, even if I was addicted to drugs and didn't know it, because that's how addiction works. Yeah. So you truly believed you weren't? Yeah. You do realize that Donald Trump is trying to use your exact same excuse in Georgia to, because he really believed he had the election rigged and stolen from him. Yes, but he had 20 lawyers telling him. I didn't have 5 doctors around me telling me you're high on crack right now. That's a good point. Yeah, he had the gun for 11 days, exactly, and then he threw it away. Also, again, was he on drugs when he bought it, or did he believe he was going to continue using drugs, or did he fear for his life because he was trying to get out of drugs and there were people involved in drugs who were coming after him and blah, blah, blah? Like, there's so many ways out of this in an indictment. And Hunter's got good lawyers, but I got news for you. Here's a jury. So you got a guy who comes in. He had a gun in his possession for 11 days. He says in his autobiography he used drugs off and on. He used crack and other things. He was engaged in this. He was living a party life. And when he bought this gun, he had used drugs, according to his autobiography, dates before. Now, do you swear that everything in this autobiography is true to the date? No, he had to move some of the dates around for, to protect people's identities and other stuff like that. So not all the dates are true to form. Well, was this date, were you using drugs on this date? I don't recall. Do you recall because you don't recall why? Either because I wasn't, or it was a long time ago, or I was on drugs. Okay. So when you bought the gun, were you on drugs? No, I think the guy at the gun store would have noticed. He didn't think I was on. We'll bring him in. The guy seemed high on crack. Was he smoking crack at the time? Do you recognize this guy? Was he in a tub covering his nipples, smoking a cigarette? Did he nap at your house with a crack pipe in his mouth? No, he did not. Did he walk in and seem pretty stable? Yeah, he's wearing a business suit. He was a lawyer. The guy who filled out the form. And then he wrote. He checked the box. He just kind of went. How did you do it? He went down the line. Did he really read it? Not really. He wasn't on drugs at the time? No. I would have called somebody. I was like, there's a crack addict trying to buy a fucking gun in my store. I'd have shot him myself. Okay. So at that very second when you were filling out the form, did you believe yourself to be an addict? Not really. No. I mean, that's the problem with being an addict is you don't think you're an addict. And even still, I know I am now, but that's because I'm no longer using drugs. Like, this is so fucking easy to get this thrown out. Like, it's just dumb.
All going according to plan until that Delaware federal judge started asking important and pivotal questions. The best question in my mind was to the prosecutor. Have you ever seen a diversion agreement, talking about the gun portion of the agreement, that is so broad that it encompasses crimes and other cases?
Alleged cases.
They tried to bury the immunity in the gun provision of the plea deal. The prosecutor had to reply, "No, Your Honor." Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense, they rejected the deal. The judge rightfully...
The who? The who?
Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense...
The judge and the fucking who?
The prosecutor had to reply, "No, Your Honor." Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense, they rejected the deal.
The defense, I see. And that would be Hunter Biden and his legal team, I presume. They rejected the deal along with the judge, did they?
The judge rightfully so, because she didn't see that deal till that morning, and that never had been given out to anybody else.
Keep talking. That's good. That never got that. Okay, first of all, yes, it fucking had.
And the defense, they wanted to get out of jail free card with that immunity. Now, equally important, we have now learned from both the IRS and FBI whistleblowers that, in fact, Weiss and others
It's from the Federalist.
Purposely were slow-walking the investigation into Hunter Biden for years. And
no, for the record, the problem that these assholes have is that they kept trying to use stuff from the alleged laptop, which again will be thrown out because of fruit of the poison tree. No matter what you do, I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care if you have the greatest prosecutorial team in the world and they're super maggots and they all believe everything that Donald Trump farts into their fucking faces. If they try to bring it into a courtroom, it'll get laughed out of court. And these IRS agents who repeatedly try to bring this shit in, drag this shit on forever, and therefore moved the goalposts so that a lot of this stuff expired. Again, also, the statute of limitations in the Hunter Biden case, by the way, they're talking about some of the tax shit. Taxes he paid.
And that Weiss, as you all know, we've reported it, he let the statute of limitations run out on very serious...
No, technically, the rotation of the Earth around the sun caused the statute of limitations to run out.
Tax felonies for a lot of important years, especially with Burisma money. Now, these are felonies, you think anybody with the last...
P.S. The money is still viewable through the IRS filings. The taxes ultimately were filed. Again... The only thing I think honest to God, I don't know why they think they have something more to dig into past that, or that they wanted to charge him before he made the deal. In the process of making the deal, and this is one of the reasons why it went on too, is because he was aware of this tax stuff for years, and they were in negotiations back and forth. So some of the statute of limitations ran out while they were dealing with the IRS, because the IRS can't just like, oh, fucking statute, you're working with us, but fuck it, you're done. We're just calling you guilty. It doesn't work that way.
Name Trump, they would ever get this type of treatment? I don't think so. They never even interviewed Hunter Biden in a 4+ year investigation. After the entire Biden family that was tipped off about the FBI, no investigation, no interview of...
Also, again, what kind of an asshole, and I would say this kind, what kind of an asshole would send FBI agents who do not wear their credentials like police officers? They don't have badges out, all that shit. They identify themselves once they've come up. But they are armed. They have guns. They have sidearms. And they are wearing suits. What kind of an asshole sends FBI armed men unidentified men to the house of someone that the Secret Service is guarding to approach the house without fair warning. Other than, I suppose, someone like Sean Hannity, who it seems would like FBI agents to be fucking gunned down by Secret Service because they approach unawares.
Hunter, no future interrogation. So here we are. Either David Weiss, now special counsel, is the most incompetent lawyer in the world,
or there's nothing to this shit and everybody keeps digging and coming up with dog turds.
Or this was all very intentional. I happen to believe the latter.
Great. Show me some evidence beyond your belief, and I'm going to be super excited. Super excited. We're sitting with rapt attention. We're not obviously the only normal people in New York. We're weirdos out here in internet land, but
naturally, Merrick Garland just promoted Weiss. Now he's a special counsel. The guy already had 5 years to bring charges against Hunter.
Yeah, he's been investigating this for the longest, so he knows more about it than anyone else. But here's a good idea. Bring somebody in to start from scratch, wipe the slate clean, start the interviews all over again. Hunter Biden will punt those interviews and move to have everything before stricken because he was under the idea that he was getting a plea deal. And so it's a violation of his Fifth Amendment rights if you use that material against him in an ongoing investigation past this point, which he still has that marketability to do, even as Weiss was put in the, but start from scratch with somebody like that and have it pushed out past, well, into Biden's next term. Do that. How about that? How about that, dickhead? Brilliant. I could see why you ended up being Michael Cohen's client number 3. I always thought you deserved to be number 2, but.
And by the way, the evidence is overwhelming and, in my view, incontrovertible.
Great. Show some of it. Knock yourself out. Pop it up on screen. You don't even need a picture of him. Don't even fucking put a picture of Biden up. We know what he looks like. We know what the words "the fix" is in. We know what the Washington Monument looks like at the Capitol Dome. Fill this part of the screen with your evidence.
The guy who seemingly helped Joe and Hunter evade justice, he's now running the special counsel investigation, simultaneously protecting himself and Merrick Garland. Now, David Weiss and the Democrats of the DOJ, they probably believe the gun charge will appease critics. They think that we're obsessed with just Hunter Biden, and they.
No. I think you're jealous of the ass he got when he was romping about. I think that's where you are as a human being. I also don't give a fuck. Again, private citizen.
Couldn't be more wrong. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't be some. It sounds like you're about to tell me I could be some wrong.
We are concerned with justice and equal application of the law and equal justice under the law, and that applies to Hunter Biden. But the more serious investigation is happening in the House Oversight Committee.
Oh, yes. You mean this quote that's allegedly from a WhatsApp message that has no sourcing and that was, when it was released, made to look like iMessage bubbles, which is different from what WhatsApp messages look like, and was actually sent in 2017 when it's nobody's goddamn business what they do as long as the business is legal. There is no influence peddling that has anything to do with this one. Just fucking scratch this off your list. 2017, fucko. He's not vice president anymore. He's not running anything anymore. He's a retired government official at this point. He's not even planning to run next time. He hadn't made a decision that he was going to run. Period. This is 2017. I don't care who the fuck he's with. A, I don't even think this is real. Secondly, if it is real, it could be blather from Hunter. And thirdly, 2017. Who is president in 2017? I'll tell you what's happening in 2017. Donald Trump is bringing Ivanka and Jared into the White House and giving them access to documents they could not get because they couldn't pass the security clearance. But he's just writing it out, just executive orders them clearance. Fuck it. I just say they have it. I'm just giving them clearance. That's what's actually happening in 2017 when Donald Trump is president.
with James Comer in the House Judiciary and in the House Ways and Means Committee.
This committee is Mr. Shears Wees.
With James Comer in the House Judiciary and in the House Ways and Means Committee. And that
Yes, it's he rinses his lips from the same place Trump does.
That's about Joe Biden, the big guy himself. We now have what we have.
By the way, I at this point, Sean, I got to be completely honest. I'm starting to think the big guy thing it has to do with his dick, because you guys are so obsessed with this big guy thing, and you seem so obsessed with nudes of Hunter that it seems like you're just infuriated that his dongle dangle is bigger than yours. That seems to be the real issue here. Is this a... I never thought I'd be asking this question, but Sean Hannity, do you have penis envy? I mean, not just about size, but just any at all.
Been unfolding every night on this show, mounting evidence against...
Mounting. I'd like to mount some evidence. Just mount it. River. Fucking mounting evidence. Go mount some evidence, dude.
A sitting president that directly implicates him in what may well be the...
but I could be... Fuck, I fucked it up. Cut. I can't cut. We have a live audience. Shit. Fucking shit. Mabel the friendly cow. Shit. God damn, I hate this place. We'll do it live.
President that directly implicates him in what may well be the biggest...
Mabel Welby. Hello, I'm Mabel Welby. It's nice to have y'all here. Gather around, everybody. I'm Mabel Welby. Yeehaw! Mabel Welby tells I spin yarns of injustice on the hill. I'm Mabel Welby.
Political scandal in the history of this country.
Or might be a giant load of fertilizer.
Real influence peddling.
Influence peddly boom ding bodie boo. Influence. I'm Mabel Welby, and I'm Peddleby down to the general store to pick me up some Hossenpfeffer and some Whorehound.
Political scandal in the history of this country. Real influence peddling, bribery.
Peddling. Though these streams are peddling, keep them doggies peddling rawhide. You know what he needs to do? He needs to try harder. You know what? Don't be afraid, Sean. Just smack your hand on the desk every time you fuck up. It's charming. Work well for your predecessor. Listen to me. Predecessor who used to occupy that very same desk. What was his name? Bill me 33 million. Bill O'Reilly, something like that.
And money laundering allegations. And
not allegations. Oh dear. Tell you what, come back when you have recordings, because that's what we got, fucko.
And many of the crimes Hunter is
also, can I say two words? Grand jury.
Suspected of committing, and
what? Sorry, did he say expected or suspected?
Allegations, and many of the crimes Hunter is suspected of committing.
Yes, suspected. You know, any day now. Fuck it. Suspected.
And this particular gun charge, well, this does not implicate Joe in any way. How convenient. So,
Huh? How do you know? Huh? How do you know it wasn't Joe's gun? How do you know it wasn't actually smoking? And it was Joe's gun. And he fired it while pretending not to fire it, miles away, while it was smoking. It's stupid. How convenient that the bullshit that we finally nail Hunter on has fuck all to do with anything. And that's clearly Joe Biden's fault. It's not our fault for dicking around with shit that if it was a Republican, we'd be clamoring against them being charged at all. God damn it, how did I end up at this hour of the night?
So the big guy, he remains in a bubble.
Does he? Well, maybe he'll, tell you what, he'll beat Trump from that bubble the way he did from the basement last time. How about that, fucko?
For now, safe from any real legal scrutiny.
Real legal scrutiny? That's true. He does have people like Comer and you looking into it. So none of that is, suffice to say, real.
For now. Now, mark my words on this.
Okay, write it down. People, somebody get out a yellow legal pad, or an illegal pad, I suppose. This is injustice.
It will stay that way if Biden runs for re-election and the media mob and the Democratic leadership want him to run for president.
Hold on, I got to back up. Back the fuck up. I need to. That was too much. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something clear and concise. Fuck me. So if when then. Shit. All right, back up. This is the. I'm trying to. Okay, here you go, champ. Bring it home, kiddo.
On this. It will stay that way.
Stay that way.
If Biden runs for re-election and the media mob and the Democratic leadership want him to run for president. Because unless the Democrats and their propaganda allies and the media mob decide that Joe needs to go, he's not up to the job, and they prefer another candidate, if a few influential
Democrats... This is a fucking lot. Wait. This was supposed to be concise. When you say mark my words, you say something like, mark my words. This asshole is full of shit and has no idea what he's talking about. Like, or mark my words, none of what he's talking about has any bearing on the reality you will see in the next couple of years. How about that? Okay, series 30 million. 33 million, Javier. Yes. Fucking hell. This is just dragged out bullshit. If the media mob and the Democrats decide they're not going to run him, and the cabal of baby-eating... So stupid. I can't. I just... Fucking... God damn, man. You're going to if-then your way through this shit? That's a lot of if-thens, dum-dum.
A few influential media mob swamp creatures.
Oh, fuck. They're still on this. Influential media mob swamp creatures. Obviously, he means Maddo.
Start, well, sounding like me. In other
words, like stammery and ridiculous and like unreasonably hopeful for a shitty outcome. You mean like that, or just misinformed and smooth-brained? I think the chances of that are fairly slim.
Words when they start telling you the truth for once on these important issues.
Okay, go ahead. Tell you what, instead of telling us what they're not saying, why don't you tell us what you're saying, and we'll judge what you're saying based on the merits, because... Oh, wait, that's how you do your show. I see. So if you just talk about what other people are saying and call bullshit on it, but you don't actually show it like I do, say, when I bring up articles or you mention an article and I bring it up and I look through it and I find out that in the yeah, but paragraph, it blows your whole fucking story out of the water. You know, that, yeah, you're not doing what I do, I see. You know what? I'm applying my methodology to you. That's completely unfair because I actually think through my shit.
On the millions of dollars that the Biden family made with no experience at all, cashing in on Joe's name and Joe's position as vice president.
I mean, we've covered this so many ways. This is just a mini little gish gap. This is like there should be a thing like a gish trot, which is a recurring lie that just go da-dum. Here's two lies right after the other, and then we just move on in the conversation as if we weren't just full of shit on two major pillars of our entire belief system.
If they start reporting all this, that will be the canary in the coal mine, and that means that they're going to try and push Joe out. In the end...
Yeah, they're not trying... Why would they do that? We passed an infrastructure bill, fuckhead. Have you read the CHIPS Act? Of course not. You do realize that Medicare has just started negotiating drug prices for the first time in fucking history. You do realize all the stuff that Trump said he did, Biden's actually doing it? You do realize that getting rid of Title 42 cut the number of crossings at the border in half? You know that fentanyl deaths have gone down by 30,000 in a year? Why the fuck would we want to get rid of this guy? Because he stammers? Or because he's got a shortened tendon in his leg because he broke his foot during the campaign in 2020? Who gives a shit?
It'll be Democrats that push him out, not Republicans.
Well, that's because you don't have any power. And hey, fuckhead, if you guys had any evidence, you would absolutely push him out. What do you think this impeachment talk is about? This is okay. This is a white flag moment from Sean Hannity. This is what we're actually doing. It's going to be Democrats that push him out, not Republicans, not because the impeachment is not going to happen. Just hang out. Don't ask for an impeachment thing because there's nothing to be found there. And if they look, they're not going to find anything, and it's going to be frustrating, and you guys are all going to be mad at me. So you just wait. As soon as CNN starts reporting on some of our bullshit for us and doing some of the legwork and going, maybe there's something here, and playing both siderism in this shit. As soon as that happens, then we'll claim victory, and you guys can leave me the fuck alone.
As for now, Merrick Garland, David Weiss, they continue to protect Joe at all costs, even if that means offering up Hunter as a sacrificial lamb.
Yes, they built a time machine. They flew back. They made him mischeck a mark on a form that Sean Hannity believes shouldn't exist in the first place, and now they're going to send him to, they're going to give him community service and a fine for it.
So while David Weiss, well, he pretends to care about a gun charge, we are focused on the
pretends to. You pretend. Let me tell you this. Hey, asshat. Right now, through this whole segment, you and your entire audience and everyone at Fox is pretending to care about a gun charge. That's, I mean, you want to talk about a direct projection. That's what everybody at Fox is. You are all pretending to give a fuck about a gun charge. None of you think this is a thing.
The real bribery, money laundering, FARA violation, allegations.
FARA violation. Oh, boy.
That we now have more and more evidence developing.
What? Did you guys notice? I more and more evidence developing, like it's a fucking Polaroid. Listen to the end of this.
Violation, allegations that we now have more and more evidence developing every day.
Yes, that's what evidence does. You don't find evidence. It develops, like a cold sore or a blood clot.
For example, let's look at Ukraine. Let's go look at...
Yeah, let's look at it. This is from Just the News, John Solomon.
At our timeline, October 2015. That's when the Obama White House, well, they decided to give Ukraine $1 billion in loan guarantees.
Yeah, it wasn't the first time.
Because they had made enough progress regarding corruption in Ukraine. Okay, a short time later, December 4th, 2015.
A short time later, back. Task Force of State Treasury Justice Department officials declared that Ukraine had made adequate progress on anti-corruption reforms and deserved a new $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee. A new one. That's August 21st. These are the dates in this article here. There were 3 in that year alone.
Corruption in Ukraine.
Okay. So this is the second one or the third one?
Okay, a short time later, December 4th, 2015, same year, Hunter Biden, he is meeting with Burisma executives. They are in Dubai. They were facing a corruption probe by a prosecutor by the name of Victor Shokin. Okay, Now, in this particular case, they pleaded with Hunter to get help. They needed help from D.C., Burisma executives. Hunter arranged the call while he was in Dubai with the Burisma executives.
No, that's not what he said, asshole. This is what Fox News says. Notice how the quotes just go to call D.C., but the to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired is not actually what they were requesting. Nor was that what Devin Archer actually said they were intending to do. As a matter of fact, the idea is that Shokin was going to get fired, and they did not want it because they had him on a short leash. They could pay him off. They did not trust that the next guy would be. The help they wanted was to keep Shokin in. Zlochevsky himself said in the presence of Devin Archer, allegedly, and that he was a known entity.
With his D.C. help, that would be his VP father, Joe.
No, it wouldn't. There was no assertion that the calling to D.C. was actually to Biden's office, nor was there any record that he actually called Biden that day. Again, they have other people in D.C. If you want to make those rounds, you want to do some actual fucking digging.
Well, 4 or 5 days later, then Vice President Joe Biden, he happened to be in Ukraine. And as the Obama administration's point person...
He didn't happen to be in Ukraine.
That's when Joe was supposed to deliver the $1 billion per Obama foreign policy. Instead...
No, it was not $1 billion. It was $1 billion loan guarantee. That is not $1 billion you actually get. We would just back some of the World Bank's money. The World Bank was withholding 70 billion. Like we won't guarantee that billion for them, and that'll trigger a cascade of things if you guys don't do some shit about this corruption, because a lot of our money that we're giving you keeps ending up in fucking Russia.
Joe decided to leverage that $1 billion, force Ukraine to fire Viktor Shokin, the prosecutor investigating, well, Burisma Holdings, the gas and oil giant that was paying his son a ton of money.
Also, Burisma Holdings is not, it's an investment group. Again, gas and oil giant, whatever.
Gave him 6 hours to fire him. Son of a bee,
right.
They fired the guy.
Say bitch, you weakling. And yes, and Joe admitted to this on stage at the CFR because it was part of policy.
Ukraine got their billion in loan guarantees. Burisma stayed in business. Hunter kept getting paid for a job.
Zlochevsky fled the country. He was tried in absentia,
in which he admitted on Good Morning America he had no experience in and was
right. Neither does Devon Archer. Devon Archer was paid more money than Hunter was. Explain yourself. If we're supposed to listen to Devon about his time there, and he's an expert, why the fuck is Hunter less so?
Was an admitted addict at the time.
Because that's how you run a criminal enterprise. You put an admitted addict inside of the quiet parts.
Now, according to a trusted FBI source, if you go back to the 1023 form that, of course, James Comer's committee had to fight.
Biden telling me, yes, a trusted FBI source, which was Rudy Giuliani.
Fight for, they didn't want to hand it over willingly. Both Hunter and Joe each accepted $5 million. $5 million for one Biden, $5 million for another Biden.
No, they didn't.
And by the way, it'll take you over 10 years. It'll take you over 10.
Yeah, because they did it in installments. Biden had it done through a Jelly of the Month club because he's an old-fashioned kind of a guy.
Long years to find out where that money came from before anybody's going to.
Here's a good idea. Just point to where it was spent, because the holdings and what they have in the bank and the accounts that they have and all that kind of stuff, it's all available. Nobody in Joe Biden's position as vice president is going to give up the power and influence he has for $5 million. Are you fucking stupid? Just because Donald Trump is a bullshit billionaire and is a cheap date and can be bought off by the Chinese for $15 million via his secret Chinese bank account to scuttle the TPP does not mean that everybody else will sell out this country for chump fucking change.
Figure it out. Now, we do know that at least 9 Biden family members, including grandchildren, received foreign payments passed through shell corporations identified by Congressman James Comer.
Define shell corporation.
Don't you wonder, what did the grandchildren do for all of this money? How did
they didn't have to do anything. Hunter was essentially paying them for, giving them tuition money or paying for something for them from the money that he got. It wasn't because of work they did for it. Nobody even alleges that. Nobody alleges that they were somehow working for these companies. It's just money that anywhere Hunter spent the money that he gave out, that's him. Like, where did the money go? Well, you know where it went. He paid one of his niece's fucking tuition at some expensive school, which was like $40K. That kind of stuff.
They earned that money. Hunter didn't have experience. How did he earn millions of dollars?
Because he was a lawyer and an investment broker with a team of investment brokers. Why are you confused by this? I think the clearer question is how about this? How about we have Donald Trump, Eric Trump, Don Jr., and Ivanka, all VPs and the CEO of the Trump Organization, one of the greatest developers in the history of New York. Have them sit down and take the architectural accreditation or the contractor accreditation test for New York State. How about that? I mean, they're the best. They could ace this fucking thing, right? They know it. You know how I know it? Because Donald Trump in his office, he's got a bunch of blueprints It's the same ones, and they've been sitting there for years since The Apprentice, so God knows what the fuck. They're probably the Eiffel Tower, but they're all rolled up and they're in bins in the back of his office to make him look busy. He could just unroll one of those and just break it down for you. What do you think? Yeah? Just break it down for you. No? You don't think they passed the test?
We got, millions of dollars, China, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, Mexico. Now, according to John Solomon, he will join us in a minute.
Whistleblower concerns about Hunter Biden's firm first surfaced in spring 2015. SEC memos show. Yeah, that's what the coordinated message shit was about. That's why the talking point. That's why the comms person was contacted.
As early as 2015, even the Security and Exchange Commission was receiving alerts about suspicious transactions and fraudulent schemes.
Dude, any expenditure over $10,000 gets flagged by the SEC after 9/11. Here's a good idea. How about we go back and we look at all the Trump financial trades, look at stuff that was sent, have the SEC look at wire transfers and cash transfers to the Trump organization from God knows who the fuck who in the 90s, pre-2001, before the eyeballs were there.
Involving the Biden's transactions. But it wasn't just Ukraine. There were payments, as I said, from China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Romania, Mexico, and others.
Also, there were no payments from fucking Kazakhstan. He's mixing up the picture of the dude from the dinner in 2017. The $146,000 to buy the car was for a car. It was a thank you for securing these deals. Now, Kazakhstan, by the way, is increasingly leaning towards the West and towards the United States, and is much better in its relationship with us. Again, post-Obama. Since the beginning of the Obama administration. Whereas before, it was much more just a satellite state of Russia and split in its genetic, sort of the people of Kazakhstan are genetic crisscross between Russians and Chinese, largely in that area, and some Middle Easterners in the south, the kind of like almost Afghan tribal peoples or whatever. But that, Kazakhstan itself is growing into a much more mature, it sort of resembles Iran in the 1950s in a lot of ways. Not that this fuckhead would know.
At the very same time, then Vice President Joe Biden was meeting with many of these wealthy foreigners and
wealthy foreigners,
oligarchs, and Hunter's foreign business partners. They were
the Elena, what's her name? All right, no,
making his family rich. But Joe had said over and over again, as a candidate and a president, he'd never once spoken to Hunter or his brother or anybody for that matter.
Sorry, guys, I have to admit, if Joe Biden said that he's never spoken to his son or his brother, I think they've caught him in a lie.
About their foreign business dealings.
I see, about their foreign business dealings. I think that would be the... what? You guys heard that, right?
There were dinners at the Cafe Milano with the former First Lady of Moscow and others. Numerous phone calls, according to Devin.
By the way, that was for the World Food Program, where Hunter, when he was trying to get his life together, was the head of it for a while. Just for the record.
Archer and other communications. Hunter, meanwhile, had a direct line to the White House. He received government emails about Ukraine. They don't want to give them to us.
No, he didn't. And you've seen the one that you're referencing, and it wasn't about Ukraine. It was about the 1-year anniversary of his dead brother, you fucking cretin.
He attended state dinners. He set up White House meetings with a lot of these foreign business partners. And then his father, Joe, well, he lied about all of that. Why would...
No, he didn't. You're asserting that he did. But please, like I said, once you find recordings or you have some sort of thing like, sorry, we didn't get a chance to talk business, whatever the fuck.
Would Joe lie about something as critical as that?
He's not.
Now, to top it off, Hunter decided not to pay taxes on what was millions of dollars in income. I guess it was tough for Hunter based on his own communications. He had to give, in his words, half his income to Pops. He told that to his sister in a...
Again, something a bag man never says. But a rich son might say, about his dad who doesn't do anything for that money or the other family members.
In an email that was captured on the laptop from hell.
Which doesn't exist, and also metadata didn't happen. We're covering the same shit. Like, this is a Gish Gallop again.
And yet, despite all of this, the special counsel, David Weiss, with all of his special powers, is...
He does have special powers. It's his charisma, his ability to look great in any pair of pants, and, of course, telepathy.
Rounding the corner on a relatively minor firearms indictment after a 5+ year investigation.
There's some kind of a hunt that you talk about. Donald Trump used to say something about this. There was some sort of a hunt they used to do. They would it was snitch hunt. No, that's not what it is. Bitch hunt. That doesn't sound right. It sounds like quite frankly, a video cassette I might have watched at a friend, bought from a friend at one point. Let's see. So swish hunt? No, that's not it. 5 years. Come up with fuck all. I don't know. Somebody call Bill Clinton and ask him about this. So what you're saying is they went in looking for like kind of influence peddling and financial crimes and basically found a blowjob, something like that.
This is obscene. This is not justice that is blind. This is not equal justice. This is not equal.
Well, it's only obscene because you guys have this weird fixation with showing Hunter Biden nudes on social media.
Application of our laws. The fix has been in and still is in.
Well, I do feel like Biden has fixed a lot of things that Trump broke, if that's what you mean.
Imagine if the names were different.
If the names were different, Donald Trump would be going, it's my gun and I can have a gun if I wanted to. Also, I can have all the guns and they're my guns and I don't even like guns and they're his guns and he was a Democrat and only got me coffee anyways. What guns? Oh, those guns. Those are my guns. I don't have to pay taxes. I'm smart. That's how it would have been. That's exactly. We don't have to imagine, fuckhead.
Switch the name Joe Biden and make it Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. So we have to preface all this with guy brags about grabbing women by the pussy, has 20 some odd sexual assault allegations against him that are all backed up by a lot of evidence. He brags about not paying his taxes. He owes the IRS $72 million, lies about it, and says he'd love to show his taxes, but he's under audit. When it's not an audit, he's just fighting returning money he didn't deserve. He's got a secret Chinese bank account where he hides $17 million and then takes out 15 personally in 2017 while he's president of the United States. That's not even in fucking question. Let's see what else. He also kills the TPP a couple of weeks before that. Let's see. So we're going to preface on that whole thing. Also, he, at one point when his wife was pregnant, made a gesture that he hopes his daughter has his wife's big tits. So, okay, starting from there. So the foundation, if Joe Biden was that guy. Well, if he was that guy, he wouldn't create and develop and go for the programs that he sought during his many years in office, because he wouldn't be the same human being, and I wouldn't have voted for him because he would have been too piggish for the Democratic Party, and he would have probably run as a Republican.
Switch the name Hunter Biden with Don Jr.
And you'd go, fucking coke? Absolutely. Still doing it. Like, I don't buy the shit that he's no longer an addict. I mean, have you seen his fucking eyes?
Or Eric, or Ivanka, or
or
Barron
Jared
Trump.
Barron? Leave Barron out of this. Fuck it, he's just a kid.
There's no equal justice, no equal application of our laws.
Right, because if there was, they'd all, except Barron, be in jail right now.
This is corruption through and through, and this is what the Biden protection racket is all about.
Notice how we've gone from the Biden crime family to the Biden corruption racket. Do you see a sort of a diminishing hope in the Hannity crowd's eyes for how this is going to turn out?
Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, you know what? This is why we need new people. Hey, Sean Hannity.
This is why we need new people. Oh, shots fired. Sorry, Trump. I think he means you're out. You fucked up. You were supposed to drain the swamp and you didn't do shit. Barron is about 18 now. I don't care. at 18, even though his life during this shit as a young man, dude, he's not 18 yet, and he doesn't have a fucking job. I don't care. Like, leave him out of it. It's silly. The only embarrassing part of that, poor Barron has to deal with is his own fucking father used his first name as a fake last name when he pretended to be his own PR rep and called Forbes and lied about his wealth. Fucking flim flam. Yeah, he was a child. Barron is innocent in all this shit. If he grows up and becomes Martin Shkreli or something like that, that's a different story. We'll deal with that then when he's a full-grown adult. But during all this, kid's off fucking limits, period. Especially when Ivanka, gets a bunch of Chinese trademarks the night, her dad's throwing the fucking Xi Jinping a bone and dragging this fucking bullshit 3-phase deal out that became nothing. Yeah, we've dealt with this before. I went long anyways. I'm like tired of Sean Hannity. I'm more tired of Sean Hannity than Sean Hannity is. Yes, even Tiffany is innocent. I agree. I don't think she had. I think one of the best things about, that Tiffany can kind of counter blessings that her fucking dad treats her like shit and stiff arms her because she was able to avoid all these fucking hand grenades that he was hot potatoing into the other kid's hands. Congratulations, Tiffany. You dodged a fucking bullet, figuratively, from this bullshit. Anyways, I adore you guys. I gotta go.